First off, we have Bulletstorm, a pretty good third-person shooter with an interesting scoring system on the kills. The story was a little bit hackneyed, a little bit overdone, but regardless, it's still a nice game to play. I wouldn't recommend to buy it, but definitely get your hands on it if you could borrow it. We're going to go ahead and move on to Castlevania, long-standing series, and this game was really great. I do recommend buying this, but no more than $20 for it. It has everything you're going to need in an action RPG, including half-naked boobies. Always fun. Dark Souls, only if you enjoy pain and only if you are a hardcore gamer. If you are with those two, then buy it at any price. Otherwise, skip it, okay? It's just too difficult for the average gamer to consume. One that is good for an average gamer would be DC Universe Online. Right now, the price is great for because it's free. You have tons of hours you could sink into it, so I would definitely recommend it to anybody out there with a PC that could play it, which would probably be anything above average. Dead Space 2 follows up on the story of Dead Space 1. It kind of tones back a bit on the scariness and tweaks it towards the action aspect of it, but still I would definitely recommend buying this, but again, no more than $20 for this game as well. Next we have Deadly Premonition. Kind of a sandbox horror survival type of game that just is weird. It is just a weird game. But regardless, I would still recommend a good buy, but no more than $10 for this game. Duke Nukem Forever should have stayed in limbo in creation hell, because for what came out wasn't anything great. I mean, even the jokes weren't funny, they were just bad, so just pass up on this game. Dungeon Siege 3 kind of strayed away from its RPG roots and went more of the action route, but still a great fun game overall. If you have a party, take advantage of that. It's fun with a group of people, but still only rent. I would not recommend buying this game. Eat Lead, The Legend, or The Return of Matt Hazard. Kind of a tongue-in-cheek kind of third-person shooter, but not as funny and not as just soaked with the jokes as it should have been. Just pass. It's a horrible shooter overall. Enslaved Odyssey to the West, one of my greater disappointments. I read up on it a little bit and just thought this would be a great game, but really it just kind of turned into a mediocre platformer with a decent story. Still go out and play it though. Definitely rent. Ghostbusters, this I actually had fun with. It was an interesting take on it. The original writers and creators were on board with it, along with the voice acting, so it had the feel of Ghostbusters, and I would definitely recommend buying it, but no more than 10 for this one. Homefront, an interesting first-person shooter, but just lacked in the story of it. It was a solid shooter. Nothing wrong with it, technically, quote unquote, but just the story seemed to rush and just didn't have any soul. I would definitely recommend just passing up on it. LA Noire, on the other hand, rich in story, great in detail, loved it overall. Atmosphere, just repetitive gameplay overall, but still, definitely go out and rent it. Enjoy the game for the weekend. Here we have Marvel vs. Capcom 3. Follow-up to Marvel vs. Capcom 2, obviously, and with a little bit more balance of fighters, it does look like it's going to be a great fighter overall, so definitely buy it. No more than $15 for it. Medal of Honor, the one that was supposed to take Call of Duty down, it just didn't happen. The sound is excellent, multiplayer is decent, first single player is just kind of blah. Pass up on it with all the other shooters out there, like Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. I'm sinking a lot of hours into this, and honestly, with the amount of sales it is, if you don't have it, you're not gonna buy it. If you do and you're on the fence, go out and buy it. You're gonna have fun with it. Need for Speed Hot Pursuit, I would say go out and buy this because I absolutely love this game. It had a good blend of action and actual, sim style racing. Not really though. But the problem is multiplayer. There's no one online playing anymore, so just pass up on it. Prototype was great story. I loved it. It was fantastic action. Everything was great for the first half. And the second half, it was all repetitive stuff. I mean, it was just ridiculous. So I definitely wouldn't recommend spending any kind of money on it at all. So just pass up. Resonance of Fate, on the other hand, great story, a great mechanical type game, dealio, real-time kind of RPG. It was just weird, but definitely go out and buy it. No more than 20 on that one. Sacred 2, on the other hand, For the RPG buff, definitely go out and buy it. I would say about 25 to 30. If you're not an RPG buff at all, just pass up on it. Singularity, a pretty good first-person shooter, an interesting gimmick with a time manipulation, but it just didn't. It felt flat. It fell flat on a lot of levels. But definitely recommend renting it. So $3, $4, whatever it takes to rent it. Get your hands on it. Elder Scrolls V, Skyrim. Yes, just yes on all accounts. Go buy it. You got your RPG and you also got your action and just great story. Everything's just great about it. Go get it. All right, people. Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions. It felt like this game really felt like how Spidey should have felt and should feel at all times. You got your 4 or 5 different universes. I would definitely go out and recommend buying this game. No more than $15 though, so no more than $15. Splatterhouse, on the other hand, is just great. I love it. The voice acting was excellent. This is the thing that I take away from it, and also the collectibles that you need to collect. Voila, that's what you need to collect. Pictures of the girly friend. But I wouldn't recommend buying it. I would definitely recommend renting it. We have Star Wars The Force Unleashed 2. I paid $4 for it. Bought it for $4, and I think I overpaid. If your friend has it, definitely borrow it, because you feel like a badass wielding lightsabers and force powers and all the such. But don't spend any money on it. StarCraft 2, on the other hand, definitely go out and buy it. You'll have tons of fun. If you're any kind of strategy game or type thing, you have single player, co-op, you have multiplayer, you have just tons of things to do on that game. Transformers War for Cybertron, fantastic game. Everything felt great about it. I would definitely recommend buying it if you're any kind of third-person shooter or just a Transformers fan in general. Spend about $15 on it, no more than $20. Vanquish was great. Loved it. The story was just kind of brutal in a sense that it was so bad it was good. It was a very short game, under 5 hours, but I would still recommend buying it. No more than $10 though. Well, that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed. I know I did. Playing all these video games was fantastic. And that's it for me on that. I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here and see you guys next year.